blur, a blur, a blur, a blur.
We're here
Hello,
on a
everybody.
Tuesday.
Yeah, it's
Wake
been
me up
it's been
inside.
literally a month since we've been streaming on a Tuesday. It's wild. I mean, not like literally a whole month, but basically a month's time has passed.
No, it's
Grabbing a fan, carry on. I'm
been a
literally not
month
going
because it was
anywhere.
before I went on vacation, and I was on vacation a month ago.
Right? Yeah, I just meant like, yeah, never mind. A month's time has passed, and now here we are, ready for another walloping a good time.
Oh
Or-
my, Aaron, your shirt.
You know, every time I wear this to work, I get at least one person who has to do a double take, and then they smile to themselves and say nothing, which I don't know if is worse or better.
They kind of just lean in and whisper, ooh, woo.
No, at least not today.
Ooh, woo.
But I did have this one girl who, as I brought her food, she just kind of looked up again, and just smirked and just, like stayed looking down, and eating her food, and I was like, I turned around going, I literally, in the mood that I was in, I was just going like, what? I don't know what that was about. And then I looked down and I was like, oh, I forgot what I was wearing. Oh, it's
Not
what.
that kind of dungeon master,
Yeah.
unless you want it
But
to
yes.
be.
Oof. Yikes. Yikes. And knowing this girl, she looks like the super quiet, like bookish type, so
That means she's
Probably.
read some shit.
yeah, probably.
No. That means she writes some shit.
Like-
Oh no.
She has 37 alt accounts in AO3.
This is when I need Hannah to pop up in chat.
Yikes. Yikes. All right. Larities.
Indeed.
Anything you want to say to the class? Share with the class.
Next week, specifically next Wednesday,
Oh wait, hold on.
episode 1 of Savannah by Night begins.
Oh, sweet
Oh
game.
no, here we go.
Oh, what did you do? What are you doing, sweetie?
There we go. I wanted to play something appropriate.
A little spoopy. There's going to be blood, there's going to be gore, there's going to be frights, there's going to be feels.
And that's just the intro.
There's gonna be bites. There's gonna be meals.
You say that, but you're not wrong.
I didn't think I was.
No, not you.
Oh,
Look, I've gotten to know Kitty Crafto, and knowing that they probably made it.
Probably.
What's with the air quotes? You know what? Never mind. Just
well,
gonna
it makes me think
ignore
of
that.
John Proctor being like, "I have no nerve, sir."
Biblically? Now,
What's
it may not
happening?
be to everyone's cup of tea. It may get a little dark. It may get a little spooky. It may be a little awful in a few ways. So if you find yourself a little uncomfortable or just need to take a break, it's highly recommended. We're not going to go into the worst versions of how that game can be, but it's also not going to be very PG either. So you've been warned. Have a good time, or don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have a time.
I wish I could do the the gif of like, let me in, let me out.
And if anyone is curious, our vampires, our player characters, have been going on a solo journey to get them to this point where we will now be starting the game together. And you can read some of those delightful summaries of what they have done on our Discord.
Which has started all the way back in October.
Yeah,
Oh Lord.
it's been a while.
So everyone's been getting about 5 or 6 solo sessions to going from how they met their would-be sire, how they became what they are, and how it is they have made their way to Savannah and why.
And I believe in our Discord you can find those under your stories.
This is true.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Heck tag.
Heck yeah.
Goon.
Heck yeah. All right. Well, that's gonna be fun. An exciting addition to the Knights of Silver Moon family. All by Knights of Silver Moon family members.
Nights by night.
Knights by night.
We're bringing in some new peeps to the family.
Yeah. That's how it always starts.
We've been here before.
Hey, at least it wasn't me that did it this time. You know, everybody blames
We can
me.
blame Graham now.
Everybody blames me for dragging people kicking and screaming into this nightmare fuel.
Oh no, Aaron, no.
Damn
Don't
it.
let me play a game.
No, wait, talk about.
I've been kidnapped.
What was this about the dungeon master?
Don't
Damn
take us
it.
to your dungeon.
Oh no. All right.
We were talking about leashes before we got on air too, so
Yeah, but that was a different
no,
context.
no, don't. It'll make it worse.
Different context. Anyhow,
We only laugh because we're gonna cry later. So, yeah.
I would never make you cry on purpose, on accident.
There you go.
Something. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I don't have any other announcements. Things might get a little wonky here in a couple weeks. We'll see how things go. I am going to be moving at the end of the month, so bear with, as this might be second to last. No, actually, this might be the last time you see this background, the way this looks. Next week, I might have it.
Yeah.
I might have
I
it
believe
slightly.
we're
What age will
playing-
this one be called?
Next week, but not the following.
Right.
We've discussed.
But
So-
next week, I'm just saying, like, next week it's gonna start
Empty.
deconstruct. Yeah, it's gonna start deconstructing, so that's gonna be weird.
Age of move.
I have to the age of move. Yeah, hopefully, if everything goes according to plan, which nothing so far has. So let's pray that it continues.
It's just gonna be Aaron screaming from a
I've
cardboard box.
I've hit the
Screaming
bottom.
I was gonna
from a
say-
cardboard box.
I've hit the bottom. I'm hoping that it goes back up from here. Anyhow.
Rock bottom's got to be around here somewhere.
Yeah.
Considering what I know about Aaron's level of work ethic and commitment and everything else, I foresee this man hijacking like somebody's Wi-Fi while under a bridge.
I mean, I have
That
used
would
to
be
work.
spoopy.
Yeah, I
He's the troll king.
have called myself a troll many a time. But yes, I mean, I used to work at Starbucks. I know how they can, put people in corners of the cafe, and like I have now
Nobody puts Aaron in the corner.
Me, I put Aaron in the corner. Anyway, all right, let's get started on tonight's episode of Age of Myth. No more shenaniganizing. Shenanigans.
Except for that part.
Every time I forget about the creepy eyeball.
Aaron, you keep forgetting to edit out that last part. That last part's bad.
Bad part. Bad feels. I need this to not be in the way. There we go. In this world of ancient Greece, we find ourselves on the eastern coastal city of Kaipantha. 4 young demigods, also known as Orphics, find themselves in the care of the goddess Hecate, taking refuge from the pervasive darkness that has recently befallen the world around them. It's been about 2 weeks now since they have met at the Festival of Apollo in the city of Ilum. Since then, they have learned of a large threat to all of civilization. This ancient threat, known as the Plague, was released upon the First Kingdom and led to its destruction and the near extinction of all sentient life on this planet. Now, a fragment of that plague that had been locked away has been released, and it, along with a growing cult of Phobos, the god of fear, has begun to threaten the people of the Aegean and beyond. After one of their own, Astrid, was called away to dire matters that she had to tend to, the young Orphics, Cyprus, Themisto, Laertes, and Phoebe continue their hunt for a sentient piece of this plague, one of a few that they have already encountered and vanquished. This Nagush seems to be calling all other plague-touched monsters to it, as they make their way, as they make extraordinary moves against the coastal lands of the Hellas. And now, masking the sun's light, making dim the noonday sun, and eating up the night sky in pitch dark. What monsters now fill that unknowable darkness, either man or creature? The party rests from their last encounter, safe in the sanctuary that Hecate led them to. But how safe can they be in this time of uncertainty? Let us look in. As we begin, we find ourselves here in the sanctuary, a beekeeper's hut / store that Hecate apparently runs on the side. Here, going by the name of Marpe, this keeper of bees, and her assistant, Herodian, has just brought you a plate of snacks. Helena / Hecate / Marpe has recently teleported off, as it were, passing through a portal in an archway into a realm unknown, yet somehow strikingly familiar to players, not maybe character, but maybe character as well. AKA Bowser's Castle. Cue music. You find yourselves able to relax, but for a moment. Taking in the delicious, sweet smells of your environs in the tray that Herodian gently places in front of you on a small little table. If you require anything, simply call my name. And he huddles off. So, what are you doing?
Eventually, Laertes will stand up and amble towards the archway that she used to scuttle off through the ether, and now he's just transfixed by how that whole thing works. How much of it was similar to the initial portals that she was showing. Is this more of an apparatus? Is this more just a channeling thing? Is it just a convenient archway that she thought looked cool based on just what she was going to do to it anyway? So we just tried to figure that out.
Sure.
Take his mind off his other problems for a minute.
Okay. Make a little investigation check, if you
Sure.
wish.
Is it investigation or arcana?
Investigation first, and then Arcana
Okay.
second. Get us determine whether it has any arcane means to it.
14.
14. Looking into this at the stones that make up the archway itself, you can see that they do not seem to show any carving or sign of fixture that would seem to like symbolize anything like that. For all intents and purposes, they do look like regular stones.
Okay. Yeah, always focus on that.
Yeah.
Yield back.
Yeah. The rest of you guys, anything?
I believe Hekate said something about baths as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you, but I think I reek after being on the ship for I don't even know how many days it's been. It's only been one day since we last like stayed in an inn with baths and stuff.
Mm-hmm. It was earlier this morning. A lot has
Well,
happened
we
this
are-
day.
We are covered in octopus,
All right, yes.
so a bath is warranted.
Well, I think I'm going to go clean up. Misto, I think you're unmuted.
Nope. Hey, it's not my turn this time.
Some other kind
Up.
of issue.
There it
Because
goes.
There it goes.
it might be becoming a wire problem rather than a muting problem. So that's concerning.
Hey, me too. Twinsies. What were you gonna say?
It was neither here nor there.
Is there only one bath?
You have to go look.
I'll go check and let you know.
I believe she just called dibs.
Well, of course she goes first. Then. But
Did you
there's
say
more
call
than one. I
thieves?
do
Is
feel
that-
gross.
yeah, call thieves. That's
Call
what we're
thieves.
that's what we're calling it. You call it.
Thieves.
You call it.
We should.
thieves.
That's what it should be called.
I think that's
Did you
what
just
it.
go
That's,
anatomist?
I think that's how it started, and it just became dibs over
What's
time.
dibs? I guess it's that.
But thieves. Yeah, just called thieves. Thebes just has like everything.
Called thieves.
apparently.
Including an infinite coastline. In this,
Well, you're an
vicinity.
island.
I love that. Okay. No, we'll just add that to our list of slogans. Call dibs.
And if there is only one, and if no one else joins her there, she's gonna take some of that time while she gets cleaned to play with the light again, and just kind of studying it and do a little meditation, trying to tap into her inner sunlight.
Okay. Or there is in fact it's kind of like this hasn't been coined yet either. Roman bath style, but it's kind of just like it's like a pool kind of situation, so less a singular bathtub. in
Kate
that-
is a hot tub streamer?
but she's got a large it's like a large inset pool that does have some warmth to it seems.
I'm just
Yeah,
not gonna
like-
tell Cypress.
Pollock bathhouse style.
Yeah.
Just basically a pool with like the all the like running in to make it look like a river.
You also find that there's some canisters off to the side that have some jars of incense and flower petals and all sorts of delectable things that a goddess might enjoy as they are refreshing themselves.
Oh, for sure. I'm gonna have some like me time before I'm like, oh, I forgot to tell you, it's big enough for multiple people. Very slowly flashed it.
As you sit in the bath with this light. And you kind of make it dance around your fingers a little bit. You realize now, upon looking at it, it looks like fire, but it is not fire. It is definitely like the bringing of those sparkles that you all tend to exude or exhibit whenever you use your powers. It is very much a condensed version of that kind of dances and moves like a flame would, but now upon really studying it, you can see that it's just really tightly packed sparkle. It moves and dances kind of like a just like the sun spouts kind of do. Like, it doesn't look like fire, it looks like these strands, right? But it kind of moves in such a way that it looks almost like plasma-y, like you would imagine like a nebula or something. It just kind of, you find a similarity to some of the stuff you've seen Astra do, but this is pure golds and white. It's a different coloration, but it still has that, like, there's like a similarness there, but it's also different. It's something your own, but familiar, I guess you could say. And just kind of moves across from one hand to the next. In the main room, there is a licking of the lips as Davos and Xanthus kind of look over the tray, and they kind of keep looking over at Themisto to see if she's going to say anything. Just this kind of,
You don't have to have my permission to eat.
Xanthus goes and grabs literally like 4 large pieces of the bread and just like dips 2 like deep dish kind of things, puts it on top of the other 2, and then like goes over to the wall and starts to like munch. Davos a little more reservedly grabs a piece and helps himself, and then like puts his things up against the wall and sits on the floor, just like legs crossed, and seems to be like in thought as he is like eating a little bit. Or you're gonna say Themisto? Or Laertes, go for it.
No, go ahead.
I'm going to, as Davos is grabbing his eats, I'm gonna mention to him the insight check that I did on him earlier when I was asking about their meeting with Ares. I'm going to say, you know, when I mentioned your meeting with Ares, it seemed to fill you with pride. Do you mind if I ask what he told you?
He told us that we needed to make sure that we kept you safe, that we protected you and the others, that you are important, and that we should be honored to serve as guardians to you all, but particularly to you, Pythia, to be.
I see. I wasn't fishing for a compliment, but thank you. How close is Xanthus right now?
We'll say that if you are like in a living room setup, he's kind of like over by the door, opposite side from where Davos is sitting. Basically, you can imagine like Xanthus is on your left over by the wall, and Davos is on the floor to your right, just like in front of you.
Okay, so I can probably have a quiet conversation between just Davos and I.
If you lean, yeah, I guess if you like lean
Yeah,
forward a little bit.
I'm gonna lean in a little and be like, I got the feeling that Xanthus received the words of Ares a little differently, in a more stern way. Perhaps it is just a difference of personality, or is something else going on?
Make an insight check. He averts his eyes a little bit.
Yeah, he didn't roll as good as usual. 15.
Okay. He looks like he's considering his words. But then he looks past you over at Xanthus, and you notice a change in his face, just a little, but you can't quite pick out what it was what the particular set of emotions is that he expresses, and it's only there for a moment before it disappears. I cannot speak for my brother-in-arms. He's a peculiar one. I don't know. I feel like at times I relish this opportunity more than he does, I guess. I don't know how else to put it.
I'll put my hand on his shoulder. Do you know, neither of you are obligated to stay with me. If you think it is right that I would tell him that he can go find his own path if he wishes, I can do that. Cypress, there seems to be an extra dimensional being.
Ignore This is my dreams.
If but that I could. I don't think that that will go as you expect. We gave up our opportunity to leave for a reason. We wanted to stay with you. We just have extra responsibilities now.
I see. My player insight and my Themisto insight are combining. I think Ares might have tasked them with putting us, or at least me, down if something were to go wrong in the Beldura situation, or to look like it was about to. And that's where that extra heaviness is coming from. That's my guess. But Themisto is if he doesn't like have his mouth full of food or something, she's gonna just lean in and give him a hug and like, thank you for being earnest and for being a protector to me, Davos.
Make a persuasion check. With advantage.
Man. I did poorly.
What'd you get?
I got a 12. I rolled pretty low.
There's the slightest bit of like leaning into the hug for a minute before it just becomes solid stone. It's like he's going to kind of lean into it as well, but then just refuses to move. So but he doesn't like shrug it off. There is no sense of like, oh no, please don't. It's just he controls himself, I guess.
That's okay. And I will conclude that little conversation.
Cypress and Laertes are, I'm assuming you being here in the same room.
Mine was
Ish.
just a very flavor thing where he was
Yeah.
going full absent-minded professor.
Yeah.
Well, he was studying this whole thing and starting to run through running through the calculations in the air kind of thing, figuring it out, what was done, how it worked. He blindly sort of lifts whatever food was there, floating it to his hand. He doesn't even care what it is at this point. It's just, I'm focused lock on this. Like 20 minutes later, it might come to light that it was a waxed fruit, but right now,
Yeah, does he do that multiple times? Because if Cypress kind of like clocks him doing that, he like tries to put something in the way, like a full orange, so that you would bite straight into the peel.
I think he'd only really be doing it the once, because that's that scholar life where it's just you eat like a bit of bread, some coffee, and go back to doing work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Cypress, make a perception check for me.
Ooh, it's a shame that I have a negative modifier on perception. That is a 15.
Okay.
Our golden himbo.
Yeah.
Reporting for duty.
Oh, you're not that bad.
We are Legion.
Mostly.
Cut one down, another 2 more shall take our place.
Yeah. Where the heck? Okay, I'm gonna send you a message.
Oh my.
Ooh. Secret message.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Read message, silently nod your head, and return as if nothing.
Okay.
Imagine it's just 2 pages of nothing else.
Yeah, that's it. That's all it was. It was just a bunch of Davos returns a smile to you, Themista, as you pull back, and then finishes his like bite.
Soaking wet and about to go take a shower.
Okay.
Do you wish to know more?
That was a background.
I guess there
don't know
are
if
other
that's-
people in the bath.
I knew it was more communal.
Beautiful.
Oh no, is Herodian or whatever like the old man at the Y?
Okay.
Aaron,
Lovely.
I asked you one quick question in response.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Thank you.
As he finishes, he gets up and brushes off a couple of crumbs and grabs his stuff. He then goes and starts to like poke around the abode, as he kind of seems like he's trying to get a lay of what rooms are where and what's going on, leaving Xanthus watching over you trio as you finish eating. And Laertes, you finish just like looking at this arch. I will say the inside of this arch is particularly smoother than the rest of the stones on the outside, giving the odd impression that it is well used.
Okay. Interesting. I guess in that time, could he have done, well, his usual ramble between identify. Let's just see if anything pops.
There is, I would say, maybe some residue of the arcane. There's some transmutation involved.
Okay. But it's not necessarily coming off of like the stones itself as much as it's just a lovely framework for effect is kind of what he's getting.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, good to know. Like, how much space is there behind this arch? Is it just, arch and then a bare wall? Like,
No, it goes into another room.
oh, it goes into another room. Okay.
Mhm.
Do you just sort of take that lunging step in?
Yep. The next room has these honeycombs that are currently hanging from slots in the ceiling and are just like dripping honey down into a tray that's like gathering it into a giant like jar that's probably like 4 foot tall.
Honey, I'm home. I felt like I just channeled Kindred for half a second.
A bunch of bees go. Zzz.
What's all the buzz? Yeah, you just kind
That
of
one's
just gonna
stung.
walk around and
Awful.
like, are they flying around or is
No.
it just no?
It's
Okay.
these look like it's a preparing and storing room, so it's got a couple other large jars that you imagine also contain a lot of honey, but these look like they have recently taken some hives out and that are just letting them slowly.
Oh, I see. Yeah, so they've like carved up the honeycombs as the dripping.
Right.
Okay, interesting.
So it's just like it's just slowly leaking down into this like little channel that goes down into the
Got it. Reinstalling Secret Life later. Secret World later. He's just gonna just find that kind of fascinating for a minute, walk through it, and then kind of walk back out if nothing quite catches his attention. I think for a moment, though, he would enjoy a little bit of the distance and a little bit of just personal time.
For sure. Okay.
The rest of this space, like, are there multiple exits out of this like
Yeah,
eating area that we're in?
this area kind of looks somewhere between a store, like a showroom almost, because it looks like storefront, but it also has like the chairs and sofas that would be in like a living room, for example. So it's kind of one of those weird store showrooms that just like has seat. You ever been to like a clothing store or something that's got like chairs and stuff for you to like sit and I guess wait for your significant other to finish shopping? Kind of gives you that kind of vibe. It's got seating there, but it's also got shelves that have jars and different markings on them. There are 3 other ways out besides the main door, or 3 other doorways besides the main door, so there's one on each wall. Yeah. 2 are very close together on the far corner. 1 is off to the side. The one that Phoebe went into that goes further back into the villa would be like opposite wall from the entrance, and that kind of looks like it goes back further into the villa. The space, the doorway into the preparing room that Laertes went into is on the, we'll say, from entering in the door, be on the right hand side, and then the other door that's like caddy corner with where Phoebe went into the main villa, like what's his face? Herodian went into this other doorway that way, so it's the opposite side.
I see. I'm gonna peek through the Herodian doorway and see where that goes.
It looks like a sort of kitchen, and then there looks like there's another doorway that goes beyond that, but it's like another smaller preparing room. There's a couple of different kinds of herbs. There's some of the bread that's stored up on shelves. You see various jars of honey and other things. You don't know what they are per se. A centralized table that could also be like an island that looks like they use it for chopping, preparing things. It's got a large wood block that's just well like worn and waxed.
Not occupied by any human beings at this point.
Not at the moment.
Okay. Themisto, after kind of taking a look, is gonna turn and say, Cypress, walk with me for a minute.
Of course. Everyone seems to be heading places. I feel like I'm missing something.
I have something I would like to ask you, if you don't mind.
Of course. Cypress will stand, probably like grab a roll or equivalent for the road.
As we enter into another room and have a little more privacy, Themisto is going to say to Cypress, I am, well, let me, before I dump this all on you, can I ask you for relationship advice? You and Asterion, your love is so strong.
I'm not great at advice, but I can bounce ideas off of, tell you what it's been like for myself.
It's just. With Vivi, I care about her so deeply, but I feel insecure. Like, I haven't been able to be there for her in the way that I need to be, especially lately. With her nightmares, I had a difficult time comforting her in the way she needed, and I wasn't able to catch what it even was. I tried to dismiss them. And reaching out to her mentor, Laertes, was able to help her with that, which of course I am happy about, but I was, you know, not so good there either. And these seems like little things, but then there is the notion of being Betia. You know how it is. I told you one time. A couple of weeks ago, I guess, when we started this journey. And if I am Betia, I cannot have a love, so. And it keeps coming up. We're always talking about how this is going to be my future, and sure, it is, and we've talked about it, but she just has to listen to it over and over. What am I supposed to do about this?
Well, the I guess we should try and approach these first separately, in case there is any real connection between the two. At least for the first one, for comfort and being there. I mean, I've physically not been there for 42 days.
5 hours,
And
17 minutes, and 35 seconds.
I decided to not burden them with the exact calculations by the sun.
Sundial watch.
Laertes foolishly told me how to calculate time even more specifically, and I'm now more tortured by the second. But when I was growing up on Thebes, I very quickly learned that I couldn't do things. At least not certain things. I could not write poetry. I could not play the lyre. I wasn't good at a lot of the artistic stuff. And Asterion is. And he enjoys artistic stuff. And it wasn't fun to grow up with and constantly deal with the fact that certain avenues of his life, I wasn't the one he would go to for things. He would show me art. He would show me what he's worked on. He would ask me at times, but I was not a peer. Certainly any type of tutor on that. And so he went to other people when he needed them for certain things. And it does hurt. Obviously, wanting to be physically there, but wanting to be someone's everything. It's, at least for me, not possible. And that I don't know what you're capable of. You do a lot of vast, impressive things that I'm not capable of. So I would hardly tell you where that line is. And I certainly wouldn't tell you to not try. I do keep trying. But it's horrible, but all right to be needed and be present when possible, but not be able to fix things. For the other one, at least with Bethia, I do not know how such things work. You've told me pretty much how they work, and I mean, it sounds silly to me, not being Bethia, but that there would be restrictions like that. I don't know. I know some people enjoy being alone. Some people don't need someone in the way that I feel you need to be around people, certain specific people. But I'm afraid I definitely have less to say on that. But if you obtain the position, do you have superiors? You have the gods. Do you even have peers as Padilla who tells you what you can and can't do?
Law and tradition, and I am elected by the people, so what did he say? A lifetime position, or until I step down, or the thing is, in traditions they are there for a reason, right? If you change them all the time, then what are they? But
If you don't know why they are there, why are they there? Or at
I
least,
thought
why do you
that
enforce them? Or adhere to them? Maybe the first Pythia was one of those people. Or maybe there was some other. Maybe, and Cypress kind of smiles here. Maybe the first Pythia was had a lot of suitors and was not good at their romantic life, and so everyone kind of banned them from having one. And then maybe it stuck in the worst way.
and there are some reasons, but I suppose what it is more that I thought in that I was ready for such a thing. but things have changed, and I don't know how to deal with that. And what's more, I just wish. Well, no, you're right. If I have a problem with Phoebe hearing this all the time, then I guess I should try to change what it is going to be. So it is not so bad.
I would think. Uh, I will also ask a question that I'm sure you have thought of before or been asked. I know that to be Patia is your goal. That's what you want most. How does that compare to the one that you want most in terms of what would truly make you happy? I'm sure that you again ask yourself this all the time, but is there any position that would be as fulfilling as Patia? Because as far as I'm aware, there is only one Phoebe. And I don't recommend the relationship advice of find someone similar because that also doesn't fit in this situation.
Gaia herself has told me it is my destiny to become her Patia. So I don't know what to do.
Have you asked her? Does she know your life has grown? Does she know that? Did she foresee Phoebe being in your life?
I don't think she foresaw me being able to speak to her at all, frankly.
I'm sorry, I don't have more specific advice.
No, this is good. You are, of course, right that I cannot be everything, and it is totally okay.
You're a lot of things to miss, though. Most of them are very impressive.
As for handling my future and hers, that is something we will have to continue to figure out together, I suppose.
Include
In
her
any
in
case,
that
thank you.
conversation. If you don't mind, I don't even know if advice is what I'm seeking, but wanted, I am also wondering about something.
Aye.
And you are very wise about all the rest of the stuff, including relationships. That is not me discounting you. Hecate, as you heard, has been spreading very positive, praising rumors about me. Stories, and it is what I've wanted. But it feels wrong. Feels like it might be empty.
No.
When I left, I of course was leaving to fulfill this specific quest, but I also left for myself. And if the stories that carry me back aren't my own deeds, then I'm a fraud. At least in some
Ernesto,
way.
is gonna lean on like this kitchen counter style preparation table here. And just let me see. I understand the root of your concern, but I will tell you this. Um, looking around the room to see if maybe there's a prop in here that I can use to illustrate my point a little better.
What are you looking for?
The
Davos.
Misto.
A ring of three wishes.
Is there just like a little bit of spare bread in here or something like that?
Oh yeah.
I have my roll.
Misto's gonna pick up a hunk of bread, and she's going to go. So, Hecate, she is a goddess of magic, yes, but she is also one of secrets. Doors, as we've seen, but secrets. Let us focus on that. She knows that. Let's say I told you to take this, and she holds out an empty hand and said, "It's bread, huh?" What would you say to me?
Is it the hand with bread in it?
It's just an
Or is-
empty hand.
Oh, I don't see bread.
Okay, right. Now let's say I gave you this. Said, this is bread. Only the finest wheat. What would you say?
I would see how much you are charging me for it, but I would I would probably believe you if it's you.
Okay. So, my point is this. In the best stories, even exaggerated ones, have a truth at their center. So, anything it is that Hecate is saying, she knows that if it is going to stand the test of time, it must have a truth at the center. And that truth is you. So, these deeds that she speaks of, they're going to be something you have done.
What if she says I can fly?
Then I suppose we will need to get Phoebe's help.
I suppose so. Thank you, Themisto. That is very encouraging. Now I just wish I knew specifically what she was saying in case I get home and in some way am asked to prove, for example, flight. I don't have. The Queens of Thieves are not the most vindictive people I've. No, they are. They're they're not in. They're not overly vindictive. They are the most, but all that to say, they may or might not try to call me out on the more fantastical rumors.
Is Thieves a home for the arts?
Yes.
And then surely the Queens of Thieves will allow a certain degree of poetic license as stories spread among the people.
I guess so. They've never really considered me art.
Well, if after this you still have concerns, we have Hecate. She will be back. We are staying in her home. So,
I might ask her. maybe I won't, but I might. Uh, thank you, Themisto.
Mm.
What were you talking to Davos about just a second ago?
just that I was happy that they had the chance to speak to Lord Ares. And that I was happy that they were with us. And that I wanted to make sure, after what we had been through, that it is what he and his brother want.
Have you talked to Xanthus much?
Not
When-
quite as much.
I've spoken to Davos. I forget how much I told everyone else, but he has his troubles. And at times, I can't tell whether he's directly insulting me. But I like him. He's a good man. And I want to say the same for Xanthus, but just so you know, this might be nothing, and I'm not the most insightful or observant person. I was right about the old woman this time, but that's its own thing. He was just giving you both, meaning you and Davos, some kind of look. Xanthus was. I can't be more specific, but I just wanted to bring it up that I noticed.
I don't think it is something to worry about. I have noticed his face too. But I think it is more an understanding of the task at hand.
What do you think we'll find in Sparta?
And besides Spartans, you mean?
Well, even that. From some of the mixed interactions with the two brothers, I can't tell whether we'll just be arrested on some weird principle that I don't foresee. They seem to have something in for Thebans. And they identified me as such on sight. So, or I can't tell whether I introduced myself as Cypress of Thebes or if they just clocked me as Theban. But it has influenced our entire relationship up to this point. But I guess we'll see. Is Phoebe still bathing? She didn't even return to tell me whether or not there. Is she lost?
You hear, where did everybody go?
Oh, there she is.
I mean, if you came out of the bathroom into the main room, like Xanthus is still there by the door. You see Laertes over by the other archway, still kind of like absent-mindedly studying the stone and the rocks. And then you can hear the conversation. You can't hear the words, but you can hear that there's talking in the other room. So, and I'm sure you ran into Davos at some point as you were exiting.
Cypress, the bath is free.
Oh, thank you. I feel just as sticky, so I'm going to go.
You look it too. I'm just kidding. You're golden as always. It's stupid. Like, how? I don't get it.
This slick hair goes back and then falls back in those like annoyingly perfect little ringlets in the front. And just like, how do you get it to do that?
I'd say it's genetics, but I have no idea what they are.
If I can have creative license after some time spent studying her powers and stuff, as Phoebe's hair is still kind of damp from the bath, there are little like streaks in it, almost as if she had like hair tinsel in, but it catches light and it seems to move as if she were standing next to a fire and it was catching on different highlights, but there is no fire.
Nice.
Cypress will, just for flavor, go off screen and find out that the bath is huge, and be like, "Oh, what?"
Beautiful.
But she used all the hot water.
And
Oh, it's
all of
so
the good
cold.
smelling stuff. There is no
Every
more bubble
one of
bath
these
left.
bottles is empty,
All of Hekate's magical bath bombs.
and none of the jets are on.
Just a
This is the worst giant bath.
just a layer of film on the top.
It's just rose petals,
There's
like in the shape
highlights
of a
all
middle
in
finger.
this water.
Love it.
That the drain is definitely clogged with hair.
Themisto is going to see Phoebe in the main room and be. Phoebe, you are even more radiant than normal.
It's just because my hair is actually clean. But thank you.
And I still smell like a sea monster, so.
I forgot to tell Cypress, but it's actually quite large.
Oh, what?
Then perhaps I should have a bath. Laertes. A few of us are going to clean ourselves off, and there is space, according to Vivi.
He kind of looks down at the fact that his clothing is clean because he's been using prestidigitation, but it just feels kind of grungy anyways. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Kate has left different oils and things. Might be good for your muscles. Take any soreness out.
And he kind of looks down at himself, thinking, what muscles is she talking about?
Anatomically, everyone has muscle abilities.
Like, I imagine he, like, in his head is doing the Bugs Bunny hold up the arm, and it's that, like, drop instead. He goes, okay. Coming. But there was a moment where he, because what time of day is it at this point? It's kind
night.
of into evening now. Yeah.
It's night.
I assume they passed by some like windows at some point on the way there.
You in this house, or you mean the windows outside in other houses?
As they're passing towards the bath section, like there's windows in the house, I assume.
There's some in the very front room, probably, but towards the back of the
Okay.
house, it's on the inside, so not a lot.
Okay, never mind. That'll be a
it's
straight thought for later. No, don't worry about it. That'll
Okay.
come up later.
I can create a window. Do you need a window?
No.
Right before
It was just gonna help me
we-
decide a thing if I was gonna do it now or later.
Okay.
You know what?
No,
No, it's
come on.
fine. I'll do it. If you, Themisto is gonna say to Phoebe right before she leaves with the rest, it's like, there's no chance you're going to join us again.
I mean, it seems as though I have to, otherwise I'll be left.
Come on then.
Davos and Xanthus, there's room for you too.
This
Xanthus.
place is huge.
Xanthus, from the front door, just nods. Thank you for the invitation, but I will stay guard by the door for now.
Do you need company?
I will be fine. Thank you, miss. He just nods and then kind of goes to the door, stands a little taller, and then slips outside. But like, looks like he's as he's closing the door, he's literally like standing in front of the door and just closes it behind him. So it's almost like he's standing like, you just imagine he hasn't taken a step. He's just right in front of the door as the door is closed. because he kind of just like sets his spear and then like sets his shoulders as he brings the door closed.
I want to very quickly make him a plate with some extra snacks. Just kind
Aw.
of open the door. This is for you.
Make a persuasion check.
Don't forget your packed lunch, sweetie.
A natural 20 for a 22.
Bridging the gap.
He turns a little deeper shade of red than his red skin already is, and kind of smirks. Does the little like, lets the spear at his side lean against the door frame, and then grabs the plate from you. Bows his head. His ears kind of like curl downwards, like a, not necessarily like a dog, but just kind of like curl downwards in like humility, respectfulness, one of those two maybe. So he just kind of like nods and thinks. Doesn't say anything else.
Just gently close the door and head to the back of the house.
As we're walking there, or maybe once we get to the baths themselves, Themisto will ask, I guess maybe from one corner of the pool, just kind of speaking loudly. So Laertes, what did you discover about this gateway? You seemed deep in thought.
So the rewind just a tiny bit.
Okay. Perfect.
He probably would have tried to get a little ahead of Phoebe and Themisto, probably when they're having a little bit of
I did
minor
hang back
talk in
to
the
be a
hall,
little
yeah.
little flirty for a
a little
minute,
flirty. He
so-
would have tried to go ahead a little bit to be a little more discreet about how he disrobes and gets into the water. And so by the time that they would find him there, like he'd be basically like up to his neck, one of those little like white like folded towels like already like soaking just like on his forehead.
Okay, perfect.
Like he's going full capybara for a second.
I
He's
love
just like just up the chin in the water, and he goes, not really much of anything. I think it was more symbolism than a requirement, but I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, I guess Themisto would be asking this, and then like
Oh, he's
simultaneously.
like loosely floating throughout the whole thing too.
Yeah, and like simultaneously slipping into the water, right?
Mm.
Like very, very snake-like. She goes to the corner, like near the deep end, doesn't use the stairs, just goes like,
There's just Herodian in the back going like 9. But yeah,
Every
his
like
eyes are
minute or so,
closed.
Cypress just breaches from the bottom. And then goes back down.
Just
Phoebe
flashing his whale
is-
tail.
Oh god. Phoebe is sitting on the edge, up to like her knees, just diggling her feet in.
You lied. And then he goes back down.
I didn't lie, I just forgot to tell you.
He sunk back down to the bottom.
To give a little context of what, and this is going to be very above the table because I like the imagery of this. There's videos like a decade ago of this guy who would take his older, very arthritic dog. He would put it in a little like radio flyer wagon, and he would walk a couple of miles every day to take it to this sort of like open public pool where he would get his dog that couldn't walk because of its age and arthritis, and he'd help it into the pool. And he'd kind of just help it float. And it was the only time I guess the dog was calm and relaxed. And just almost happy. And you kind of get that impression of Laertes where he's not really feeling pain or discomfort because he can kind of just float and relax. And probably for the first time that you've actually seen him do this, is that there's just all the tension kind of goes in a way that he would do in private when he's doing levitation. But here's actually getting to do it like in a proper full giant bath, which, as the poor scholar that he is, didn't have access to back home. So he's zenning right out.
Nice.
You know, to bathe in the private pool of a goddess is not something I expected to be doing. And
Mm-hmm.
While you guys are enjoying the pool,
Mhm.
Davos does stay by the door, but doesn't get in. But he does stay by the door. And does one of those, you know, in like TV shows and animes where they like post up in this really weird catty corner angle to the wall, but they're like leaning back against the wall, cross-armed, and just looks like he's trying to lean back and relax in a sofa, but he's just still standing. It just seems to be pleasantly observing you guys having a good time, as it were.
At some point, Cypress more like calmly comes up from water and stays above the surface. And he'll get closer to the edge where Davos is. And he'll call out, Davos, if you don't want to swim, I understand, but you don't always need to be on the watch. We're all still here. None of us are asleep. We can still defend ourselves if something happened.
and our
sword's
host
right over
literally
there.
does have this area protected, wouldn't you say?
I did drop my shield in the bottom of the pool.
Davos pushes off from the wall, comes over a couple of steps to the edge of the pool and squats down by Cypress and like gets like puts his arms on top of his knees as he gets really close. I appreciate your offer, Theban. But it would not be appropriate.
Can I kick some water at Davos?
Sure. Do that and he's just like,
Is that for our sakes or for yours?
for all our sakes. You are all different than I. There are some things that should stay separate. I wish to be prepared. I do have a duty and a promise to keep. I don't expect you to be attacked. I don't expect danger to befall us. But if something were to happen, I don't think I could live with myself if I had not been completely prepared at all times. Besides, you don't get to see everything for free. And he winks. And stands up and walks back to his wall.
I'm gonna be a little bit shitty. Just this hand rises out of the depths, a little like Serapis from the prior episode, and just I'm gonna try and dynamic gravity in him into the water.
Oh no.
because I feel this is karmic parody because I saved him from going into the drink when we were on the ship. I feel I'm owed this.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Okay, what is the save that I need to be making here?
It's not a save, it's an attack roll.
Oh shit! All right, cool.
Actually, wait a second. Can I do this a different way?
He's being waylaid. You should shout, "Don't run the pool."
No, I'm gonna do this a different way because that's even funnier. Because this won't hurt him for one thing, and I
Yeah.
can do this. I'm gonna vortex warp him. Because I can just put him straight into the water.
Vortex warp.
Praise be the vortex warp.
That'll be a save. throw.
Every 6 seconds.
Con save. Now I feel like he should be at disadvantage because he's not expecting this at all. From meek, mild, clearly capybara, slender man in the water right now. He's not a threat. He would never do. Oh, I'm in the water now.
Would the wet rodent dare cast vortex warp?
Wow.
No way.
What man would dare give me
No
the
one would even
raspberry?
consider such a question.
Considering
When one sees a capybara in the water, do they think, what is he planning?
yes. Yes.
No. No.
That's a 1.
Well. Sploosh.
For a total of
1, because that's how that works.
3.
So I imagine he's mid-sentence of denial and just
Oh my god.
Cypress was looking in his direction, so he literally saw him just kind of like disappear.
and Laird
hell?
is kind of just lazily floating by him. It's like just let it happen.
There's the
Where?
You're here now.
There is the. Do I have it? I don't. I thought I did. I thought I had a splashing sound.
Cannonball.
Yeah, I feel like at this point Phoebe may as well get fully back in because it's just
Well, so I before you do, if there's a lot of splashing and you're a monk, so this might not work, but Themisto is going to try to take the opportunity to pull Phoebe in as well.
I imagine this is gonna be a little Austin Powers, like, oh no, I fell over.
Davos, you hear somewhere between a shout and a yelp as he is yoinked from one space and then is deposited. Do you do it like you bamf him over the water or literally like just poof into the water?
I can actually put him into because he's tall. I imagine he is standing on the actual bottom of it.
Yeah. Well,
So he's probably like hip deep.
I was gonna say at deepest point it goes up to your waist. So like if your guys are when you're going down, you're basically what is it when you're like you're kind of doing like this, your legs are kind of like
Yeah, I imagine he's fully standing because I can either put him just in the water or I can put him on a solid surface, and the solid surface is under the water.
beautiful. So there
twofer.
is a odd like splash, but like the sudden
Displacement
of water goes so it's this weird like explosion. It is very much like a cannonball. It just goes as the full size of this hobgoblin now appears in the water, and you just hear Malaka just like splashes his both arms down into the splashes even more.
I didn't do that.
Can I just, as I'm sort of like floating by, just like the faintest, weakest little like little splash?
One last little hits his face, and he just slowly turns his head to you. His like ears are now fully down. He's like completely soaked. His hair is all like over his face. Shakes it off. takes his tunic and throws it up against the wall where it like and then slides down because it's now soaked, and then just starts just taking off the rest of whatever clothing and armor he has and just throwing it off to the side.
There's something different about seeing someone disrobe while in the water. I feel like we should all look away.
if his eyes could shoot daggers, you'd be a pincushion
They'd
right
be
now.
wet.
They'd be wet daggers. But he does
What
stare.
is grapple strength versus like acrobatics or athletics?
It's
Uh,
that.
Are we gonna do it that way?
Yeah. I mean, maybe you'll probably let it happen, but I just want to see what the dice say.
All right. Yes, I'm curious about that too. You would see Themisto's eyes like go into snake mode, so you know something's about to occur.
We had a beach episode, now we're having a bathhouse episode. It's
This is way better than the beach episode. There's less tentacles.
Or are they?
Okay, well, I rolled really low, so
Silence,
You say it's
Capybara.
opposed athletics.
I think your strength and then my athletics or acrobatics.
My strength versus your athletics or acrobatics.
Yes.
Okay.
I think the one who's attacking is doing athletics. At least
Oh.
as written, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the defender uses athletics or acrobatics.
Okay. Good. 15.
The dice willed it because I only got a 10.
So yes, the Mister's eyes get real snaky for a minute, and then she reaches out and grabs and pulls Phoebe in too, and makes sure, since she got good on the strength, that she kind of like lifts her over so that she goes far enough away from the wall that like there will be no accidental scrapage on the pool on the
No concussion on the way
Yeah.
in.
Exactly.
Just
Yeesh.
bang and blood all in the pool, and it stops being a fun time immediately.
all right. Everyone.
And so, I mean, Phoebe will then have to mirror Davos and just like ring out, and then like,
I'll fix them later.
thank you, Laertes.
Themisto laughs a bit, but Cleo seems particularly pleased. The snake is going a bit more
course.
crazy than normal.
Phoebe will wink.
Cypress goes out to the bottom and tries to retrieve his heavy full shield from the bottom of the pool. I thought that would make my splash bigger. It just hurt to land on.
Now in the pool, as Davos like pushes his hair back. He walks towards the edge, and you guys probably have seen him mostly naked before. But I would say that this situation, you see a lot more of the scars on his body than you think you've ever really noticed. A lot of scars on his body, particularly his back, as it looks like it's been torn and ripped and whipped. He makes his way over to the edge. It kind of like, not necessarily gets down in the water a little bit, but kind of just gets down and like leans up against the back, puts his arms back. So he kind of looks at the rest of you guys. I hope you are. Go ahead.
Cypress, who registers this, watches them go to the edge. Cypress goes to a shallower part where you can stand. Davos, Spartan warrior, how are you at combat in the water? And he just like raises his fists.
This is a fight you don't want to start. Theban.
You don't know what fights I want to start.
He kind of just raises an eyebrow. And then you hear a rumble. Enough to where you can see immediately Davos's ears perk up. He looks around. And then you hear it again. A shifting in the earth. Movement. And by the edges of the pool, the stone morphs and warps itself. One step, one tile kind of displaces and shifts and cracks open, and another tile shifts and cracks open. You see Davos immediately looks around for the closest thing he can find as a weapon and starts rushing towards the edges of the pool, away from this, but towards where his things are. A granite head lifts from the stone, followed by a set of shoulders and naked masculine chest as almost like a statue of stone rises from the ground. The stone looks blue and darkened in color. The eyes that were closed now open to reveal ruby red irises. The dust that flitters down and around you from this rising stone statue, this tall, imposing figure as it grows taller and taller, as it seems to just rise up from the ground here. The arms are kind of almost like mummified in a way of holding to either side, but as soon as they pass from the earth, they just lower to the side, this impressive muscular feature. And as the feet finally rise, you see this man dressed in a simple, not kilt, but that kind of Egyptian style, tunic around his waist. A genasi of stone and earth. He looks over at all of you gathered around. Are you the young Orphix Hecate spoke of?
Who's asking?
Cypress dives into the pool and tries to get his shield out. Which, if he's just able to do, he'll kind of lob onto the side of the pool.
Hades, king of the underworld. And that's where we're gonna go to break.
Oh shit.
Someone pick up the phone, by the way? Because I fucking called it.
It's on silent.
Just,
Red.
introducing myself to an important god while nude. Nah, not a problem.
Hey, just stand up and just be like, yeah, welcome to my office. Set the tone.
I mean, in ancient Greece,
Yeah. Also, he came to us
everyone
while
was
we
just
were naked.
well, at least
So
the men in
that's on
ancient Greece
him.
were just constantly naked, wrestling naked, running naked. Just
Yeah.
because
Other
naked.
things, naked.
All the things, everything. Yep.
Shopping, naked.
Probably also that. All right, don't go anywhere, guys, because we'll be right back. So you won't want to miss what's coming, or maybe you do. I mean, I don't know your life. All right, we'll be right back. All right, and we're back. Okay. Last we left off as these young fools, young Orphics are
No, you had
Made
it
it.
right the first time.
are enjoying themselves a nice little bath. I thought I was hearing things, and I realized I was like, "What is that noise?" And then I realized my roommate's taking a shower, so I'm hearing the water go, and I was like, "What is
Sound effects.
what is
You
this?"
you wanted to be in the bath episode, Aaron.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. Here we are. I will admit this was not what I expected, but I see that I have caught you in a inopportune moment. I will allow you to finish, and I will await for you in the main room. I wish to speak to the Phoebe. And he doesn't walk, but his feet kind of like are melding in with the floor, and he just goes. You almost hear the sound of like grating stone on stone, and he just kind of like moves, almost like he like hoverboards.
He's where
Yeah,
Steely's.
yeah. Basically, just kind of like smoothly goes out into the main room. And you see by this point Davos, he like passes Davos as Davos has grabbed shield and spear, and he just like does this one like look past him as he like goes out into the hallway.
I get the feeling that most people who meet Hades are going to see him at inopportune times.
Did we all just die? Because if not, why is there a portal to the underworld here in the bathhouse?
At this point, I'm not really surprised by anything anymore.
Yeah, he wants to see you.
Let me not keep him waiting.
The doorway.
Laertes, you drowned Davos. You killed him, and now he. I don't know what we were all doing. Maybe I drowned getting my shield. I don't know.
Went around into Misto's eyes.
Wow.
Laertes just submerged.
Or when you concussed on the edge of the pool.
Davos like, I wish I had slipped and fallen and broken my head and not heard of this.
It's alright, Davos. We were doing one of the bravest things when facing fear. We were laughing, having a good time.
Did you know Laertes is scared with water?
Phoebe's gonna hop out, squeeze the great length of hair out, and then slip her dress back on and head to the main room.
Cyrus turns to Laertes and trying to keep a straight face says, "You're so brave."
As I kind of just float by him on the way to like the stairs, it's just this like blind, not even looking, just like hand on shoulders, like, and that's why they'll remember my name. And I just go past him entirely.
The Mr.
Beautiful.
will recompose herself too and head out with Phoebe.
I will say that Laertes will go last, sort of the mostly last to enter, and again, kind of just like trying to be a little more discreet. Maybe bashful is not the right word for it, but trying to be a little more private about it.
I will say
But
that
one thing that he will help using prestidigitation, remove the impromptu wash cycle that he put Davos's armor and weapons through.
I was gonna say that Davos will offer a hand to help Laertes up from the pool. If you will decide to take it or not, that is up to you. But you are the only one that he has offered that to.
I think he might take it just for like the initial, like getting out.
And that's all
But
that it
then,
is.
yeah. And then, yeah, I'll get robed up and then prestidigitation and then join them. There's that rolling static without the expectant pop and pain that comes at the end of it. It's almost anticlimactic. And he looks, Davos looks like he went to the spa.
Yeah.
Like,
Looks
literally. Because his
pristine.
hair is, like, all blown out and
It's all steamed and looks good.
eyebrows looked on point.
Yeah.
Can you like remove the grease from someone's face?
Probably.
Yeah,
In any
technically.
case, Phoebe.
Does it end up on the floor when you cast the grease spell?
Let's find out for science.
Phoebe, once you get into the room, you see Hades is just kind of staring at some of the honey jars. Turns and looks in your direction. I apologize if I came at a bad time.
We were enjoying being alive after a questionable morning.
From the kitchen room, Hecate comes out with a somewhat larger jar of honey. Goes over and gives it to Hades. As promised, may you enjoy it. She turns to Phoebe. I see you all were enjoying the baths.
Thank you for that.
You smell a lot better. As
Less fishy.
Gratefully so. I have spoken to Hades about some of the things that you have said and seen. And this as everyone is starting to file into the room. I see that I understand that Hades made one of his unique entrances. He has a flair for the dramatic. Don't take his solemn nature too seriously.
I believe we were probably an unexpected sight as well.
Hades has a smirk on his face that quickly, as Hecate is talking, it smirks, and then once everybody looks over at him, it just quickly goes back to nothing. Tries to look serious again.
Oh, he could have said stone-faced right there.
I could have, but I chose not to. Because I'm a decent human who doesn't use puns. Anyway. You are the one who looks to have a power possessing, or that has been previously possessed before.
It's been implied, though I don't know if I'm the only one.
I would have my doubts. But we shall see. For the first time, he seems to like unstick his feet from the ground and he walks towards you. His stone features catching the light of the room in such a way that he looks both made of stone and also skin. the stone moves in such a way that it is deceptively soft looking, yet at the same time extremely solid. I don't know if you've ever been in the presence of like that kind of marble structure where it looks like it's so soft, but you know that it is stone, and it moves with that same like smoothness. You can see the skin as he walks of his arm and chest as he like moves, that it like gives and takes in such a way that it looks fleshy, but also retains its stone-like features. He looks you up and down as he kind of starts to walk around you. This tall figure. He's about 6'7", 6'8". And as he like moves around you and looks you over, he looks over at the rest as well. Mistress Hecate did not lie. You have an immensity to the power you possess, though perhaps you don't understand quite how to use it yet.
I've not known about my powers for very long.
So I have been told. This may or may not come as a consolation, but you do not have the power of Helios. You have something far greater. He turns to Hecate, and he starts to speak in a language that you are unfamiliar. There are portions of it that Laertes might catch as they speak in an ancient Bahiran language. You catch similar in potential. Burns brighter than and could be dangerous.
Sorry, burns brighter, could be dangerous. What was the first one?
Similar in potential.
Similar in potential.
Okay.
We have not seen Orphix with the level of power that you possess in some time. Curious that they would appear now. Or at the very least fortuitous. I hear you are hunting plague beasts.
We are after one such fragment.
Be cautious. Keep your wits about you. You have the advantage of them being rather rusty from previous experience. But from what I was told, you're adapting quite well to the battle against fear and dark. Good for you.
Is he saying that to all of us?
And you, he looks over at Themisto.
And look at this.
A Gaian in the flesh. 1,000 years it has been since I have last seen one like you. A blessing it is to be in the presence of royalty.
I have never thought of myself as such.
Only because you do not know your true heritage. A true queen amongst the civilizations of man. Perhaps it is good that it has not gone to your head yet.
Yeah. Would be curious to know what you know, Lord Eris. And that it is my duty to serve the people of the Aegean and the gods.
There was once a time when we served your kind. Those were simpler times then. And far, far removed from here. I hope that I do not see you again soon. I mean that with the utmost respect. Sister, keep me informed.
What do you mean something far greater?
Your potential. You have a burning within you that is brighter than most. Even us, at the dawn of our Orphic age, we struggled to understand our capability. But we got an eye for what we could do. And though the Orphic power is few and far between, it would seem that as it rises, it grows in strength. The laws of Qua are still a mystery after 1,000 years. But perhaps they will save us yet. We're gonna say Laertes?
Has that been fully like enunciated in front of us? What that even is?
Mm-mm.
Like the words itself, has that even been said to us before?
I don't think so.
Okay, because I was trying to reconcile it. Was that something said in the prequel series or
Yeah.
in here? Because I don't remember that being said.
It was in the prequel series.
I'm sorry, the laws of what?
He looks over at Hecate. I will admit, we haven't told them much. They haven't exactly had the time for proper schooling. Hades just shakes his head. I am not here to teach you the histories. But this law of Qua, it allows Orphics their ability. It is more of an understanding of what can be than what is.
Pencil.
What'd you say?
Sorry.
Potential.
Potential.
Yeah. Yes. But as far as we know, it only applies to our kind and no other within this universe. A true gift. Or a curse. Depending on your point of view.
Before we leave this section, can you spell it properly? So.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Laertes asking Hades to.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
I'm taking notes.
I forgot
Also-
that it was spelled that way. God damn
Yeah.
it.
Also, the fact that the one who's telling us about the Qua Law is a Genasi.
Yeah, I know. So you hate me for puns, and you do this in your own house?
This wasn't. This
I
wasn't.
think Hunter named this.
Mhm.
You do
Aaron-
this on the day of your own
co-signed
daughter's wedding.
Aaron coincides it by putting it in his game, so he's just as much to blame.
Hecate turns to the rest of you guys. There is still much you must learn, and I will do my best to try and be more. Spend more time teaching, more so than I do watching. But after I told Hades what we were dealing with, he had to come see for himself the wonders that are walking amongst us. He has his own studies. Cypress, what are you gonna say?
Cyprus has been kind of just more in awe of this situation of all the gods where Cyprus gets confused about like domains and who they are, having not been raised as literally religiously as Themisto. The one thing that he at least kind of gets on principle is the god of death, or at least of the underworld. And at some point after this, at this point in the conversation, having mostly kind of Law of Qua just over his head, not getting it, he does bring up, is there a chance that you and we wouldn't meet again?
I guess that depends on your actions, doesn't it? The blessing of Orphix is potentially a long life. Potentially. But it seems you dive into dangerous waters, to borrow a term from my brother. What you face could end that long life.
You all could probably tell without much insight, just above the table. Cyprus has never given thought to the possibility that he might live longer than a human. And is shaking him.
You have given me something to revitalize my studies. He looks over at Phoebe. Reaches a stony, clawed hand out towards you. And he kind of rubs a thumb over the top of your, like, as he takes it, he kind of just does, like, this, like, caressing thing. A true gift. To be in the power, to be in the presence of such power. I hope that it serves you well. He lets go of your hand. Nods to everybody.
Can I insight that? Just like what kind of vibes? Was there any like
Sure.
thing he meant behind that? It's another natural 20
Oh my
for
god.
26.
So one time when he was a child, no.
He was a massive stone.
You look like Persephone.
I didn't offer him any fruit.
Incidentally, would you like some pomegranate?
For like no reason.
No reason, I promise.
I just heard that in season already.
Just a few seeds.
These are some of my research studies.
It's so good, I promise.
I don't know why my version goes Russian. What's wrong with me?
Yes.
Duh, is fruit.
Duh.
Why do I feel like Aaron's just typing out? Stop asking me questions. This whisper is brought to you by. We should really get sponsors at some point.
Just make stuff up as you go along.
Need a hot dog real bad.
This moment is brought to you.
By
By
Jennifer Coolidge.
whatever tea that you were drinking.
Thanks, Lipton.
What were we gonna say, Laertes?
Oh, did he leave or do I have a second before?
I mean, he looks like he's getting ready to leave, but
Yeah.
whatever.
He's doing that Midwestern. All right. We're just
Best
gonna-
be hitting that rusty trail.
Yeah, I hate to be that girl, but I'm gonna stop him too.
Yeah.
He instinctively kind of just steps forward, like almost is gonna reach out to him, but so we know that the gods aren't divine like the stories we've been raised on. So what is the underworld really? What is the true nature of your domain? Both the place and your power.
Do you wish to find out?
One way or another, I'm going to, aren't I?
Perhaps. I would hope for your sake that you do not. At least for some time yet.
You know, you could just tell us.
I could. But I could show you as well. We have a curious nature. When we came from beyond in the migration, our life was different. Upon coming here, our nature was changed. And it doesn't quite match what everything else does. Especially those who were changed, have been changed. The nature of my domain is studying that change. Seeing what becomes of that energy. Where it goes. What happens to us. What I have found would surprise you. But then again, maybe not. You do strike me as a man of the sciences.
It's been my belief for some time that we're both matter and energy. And you can't really destroy either, it just changes states and evaporates into the rest of the ambient universe.
He takes a step and then another towards you and then leans over to your ear. So then what happens when you learn to control both? Would it not be simple to just bring it back from the brink of oblivion?
I don't know what Hades' exact power set is, Aaron. But for a brief moment, when some of the conversations he's had, especially with Hecate, because it keeps coming up whenever he's talking with her, either outwardly or internally, he thinks back to his mother. And for a few seconds, he can't summon up words.
Which matches the cold chill that runs down your spine the closer he gets. If this were a game, this would be the thing where Laertes has unlocked the path of necromancy.
Yeah, just a little like left or right choice kind of thing.
Laertes will remember that.
Exactly.
Now, the way I understand these little Beheron crystal things is that the infinite density, so I can just fit all the spells in there. It's fine. Don't worry about it. No choice had to be made.
Yeah.
It's my open save file.
I can always go back.
The problem with messing with such things is that you can corrupt the natural order.
Who is to say what is the natural order of things? We are foreigners here. How we operate is our own business.
Would you say the same about Baldura then? It does what it pleases. Corrupts and changes. How would that make us any different?
You have not seen the extent of what he does. You have seen the taste of it.
And yet the taste is enough to be concerned about, let alone the extremes.
He's a smart one, sister, just like you said. I have a feeling we will have many enlightening conversations yet, Laertes of Sagan. I will keep my eyes on you. He, like, shifts up, and there's that crumble crackle of shale and stone as he, like, flexes his muscles a little bit. This guy's ripped out the wazoo. Cut from stone. Why am I like this? Anyway,
That
shut up.
makes me-
Silence.
Or what? The god of death will have a stare down with me, and he walks away.
I would imagine he turns around to see Themisto right there as well.
Lord Devish, I know you are a busy man. But I must ask, I am not your priestess, but lately I have had to give many rites, and I have left many drachmi on the ice of the fallen for your ferryman. I find myself, though, and sometimes wondering if what I do is the way of things, or it is the way our world decided things were after the fall.
You wonder if you should continue to place these drachmi?
I would not presume to question, but yeah, yes.
Does it bring you comfort?
It does bring comfort to me, but it also puts us in great danger, and I know that it is perhaps not always so considerate of our companions.
I find your faith pleasing. You bring yourself comfort, and by extension, comforting others as well. The energy that is left behind when a person falls. Know that it goes into good hands. The act is different from culture and custom, but the notion, the desire to bring comfort, the idea behind it is the same. We wish to bring comfort to those who mourn the passing of their friends, or in some cases, their enemies. It eases the burden of the conscience, does it not?
The mister just nods.
Worry not about the price. Worry about the weight that it brings. Or doesn't. Can that truly be measured in coin? The knowledge of doing what is right?
Thank you, Lord Delish.
He nods. Looks to his sister. Or at least who he calls sister. Nods at her. Puts his hands up. And then immediately goes back into the ground. The light little bit of like dust that kind of like spits up from his passing, then settles. As I said, always one for the dramatic entrances and leavings.
So he didn't need to appear in the bathroom when we were all naked.
He appeared closest to where you are. You happen to be in the bathroom, naked.
Hmm.
I wasn't expecting him to run off in the middle of a conversation, but he was rather excited to see what I was talking about. Do not let his sour demeanor and serious tone fool you. That man is still a boy inside. He gets excited when he has new prospects to play with. I feel like you, she looks over at Laertes. I feel like you and him would get along. He too is a man of sciences, though he likes to shroud it in mysteries and mysticisms.
I met those like him back at the university at Symposia. Trying to shroud things in more of an esoteric air rather than making it more accessible.
There are still things that we don't, as he said, quite understand on how we fit into this universe that is so different from our own. But he means well, even if he is a little macabre about things.
I would enjoy further discussion.
Careful what you wish for.
And you do see a bit of a change in his expression. It was a little more playful before, and now there's just like, oh, there's that reminder again in life, and how brief it's probably going to be.
You see in the doorway at the kitchen,
Mhm.
holding a plate, Ma'al with her eyes wide. I swore it was my time. But he didn't even look at me, so
Well,
perhaps
now that it is free, might I recommend the bath? It is very relaxing and will help you forget whatever
It's
you just saw.
huge.
I mean, I saw that you all went that direction, and then I decided to get the plate for myself, and then I decided to get another plate, and then another one, because it was all very good. I'm sorry, mistress, for having finished a jar of and a half of honey, but you have good bees.
This is the happiest I've seen her, Aaron. Is she honey drunk or something?
Kind of. Ma'al has
Just hopped
discovered.
up on bee sugar.
Was it honey or is it mead? And she's just drunk off
She
her
went to the
ass.
back wall of the honey, so
Honey
Not
doesn't
cut
go
his
bad,
private
but this honey
reserve.
pretty much went bad.
In the best way.
Hecate,
Yes.
if we weren't killed, which is very much on the table, how long can we live?
I could not begin to tell you. Some of us have been around for a long time. Some of us could have lived as long and gave up on life.
How how long do elementals in Genasi live? That aren't like us.
You see that she has a smile of understanding where this line of thinking is going. Trust me. This is a path of thinking that you do not want to go down. Enjoy each day as it comes. You have something truly special to look forward to. Don't try to rush to the end. You will find that all that time is gone before you know it, and then you will wish you had been more present in the moment. Chico walks over to you, scoops both hands under your chin and lifts it to look up at her. You are so young. You have much to look forward to. And so does he. Now, Herodian, please prepare the rooms. Our guests are getting tired. She smiles. Laertes. She extends her hand to try and take your arm.
He acquiesces.
Come with me, little children. It's off to bed. She kind of leads the way, leading Laertes to one room and Phoebe and Themisto to another. Cypress to his own. Cozy little guest rooms. Big enough to be comfortable while not being flashy or overly large. She takes Laertes to the room and closes the door. She takes her hands and flips them, folds them outwards, and you see that there's this warbling of dimensional space. She takes out a satchel, a bag, and gives it over to you, Laertes. She flips open the flap, and sticks her hand inside, and it goes further than the edges of the bag. She pulls out these two, almost like apple-sized balls of bound rings of metal. And gives them to you. These, when you say this word, it's a Bahiran word for binding. You can toss it at something and it will be bound, provided it's not extremely or exceedingly large or strong.
Mm-hmm.
Could come in handy. Hopefully more for foe than Anything else?
Is there a concern? More than the usual.
I hope not. Um, this satchel will allow you to carry as many things as you wish. Well, not as many, but many things. You must but recall what it is you put inside.
That would make things a bit easier.
And this. A small rectangular metal device. Almost like a card. Something about it rings familiar to you. She hands it to you. A simplified version of something we used in the Old Kingdom. It allows you to open doors. It resonates at a particular frequency and finds its way into almost any lock. But it will also work as a passkey. We are close to devising a way to keep you into, allow you entry into the priories. If you ever need
Priories.
sanctuary. There's more than a few spread across the globe.
Are there many in this part of the world?
No.
Hmm.
3. One you have been to.
Mm-hmm.
One at the base of Olympus. And we are in the process of excavating a third. But don't tell the Misto yet. Let it be a surprise.
Is it where I think it is then?
She smiles.
I'm about to sound so very ungrateful. Like a cat that's been given a gift but wants to play in the box that it came in. And he'll put these things aside on the table or bed, whichever's closest, and he's going to take her hands, like just like the back of her hands briefly, and completely unaware of any implications that could have outside of what he's doing, and he just goes, "How did you do this? Because I've been trying." Is like he's mimicking her motions, how she like pulled something out of thin air, as like an advanced version of the bag. And he says, "I've been working on that problem for so long."
Give it about 500 more years and you'll figure it out, I'm sure.
And you see that tone shift in him again. It's just
I mean,
right.
I didn't have a teacher, so it could come sooner.
Thank you for this.
I have a feeling it could come in handy. You carry a lot of things. This would facilitate some of that. And it's rather lightweight.
He does pick it up and start to compare it a little bit to his sort of almost like a messenger satchel,
Yeah.
and just very clear difference between the two, I imagine.
Yeah.
Oops. And some of the tension goes out of his shoulders. Just, oh, that walk was going to be dreadful. This makes it a bit easier to bear. Thank you.
Of course. Like I said, I try and take care of my children. Maybe pupils or students would be a better word, but
Hmm.
I care for you all greatly. I care for all of those that I find. You're the only ones who can understand.
Is there something in particular that you wish others would see and understand?
The truth of the world around them. You, I'm sure, have experienced the relief that brings being able to speak with someone who fully understands.
But also the weight of understanding. You understand, in comparison, infinitely more than I do. And knowing what I know, in some ways maybe a bit more than the others, can be a bit isolating. So I imagine that's exponentially worse for you.
You have no idea. Laertes, we've lost so much. And I don't think we are ever going to get it back. But every time I see one of you shine a little more brighter, it brings me a little more hope every time.
I think it's less about trying to get back what was. I never knew that world. Just about building one now.
Get some sleep.
Thank you.
I may be a goddess of secrets, but sometimes I can spill a few. She
Oh,
puts a hand on your shoulder and squeezes it affectionately.
well, I think you saw earlier. I'm perfectly fine trying to tease secrets out of a quote-unquote god.
It was quite quite something to see. Not very many people can say that they have met the god of death and then gone toe to toe with him immediately afterwards.
Well, and there is that crestfallen mask that he seems to wear sometimes. And not to be fatalistic, but I suppose I should at least get used to being acquainted with him.
She just nods, doesn't say anything, but sighs and nods.
Good night.
Good night. She walks out the door. Phoebe? I say that like you got in trouble. Phoebe, what are you hiding behind your back?
Phoebe is going to sit on the bed in the room with a very big sigh and just like hold out her hands for Themisto to join her. Oh no, we can't hear you again.
Hopefully I
Oh,
will
there we
come
go.
through.
Yes.
Okay, the mister will climb on the bed with her.
Today has felt like a lifetime.
There was a lot that we went through.
I'm glad I had you by my side through all of it.
How are you feeling with this? More and more he's entering the light.
I like the light part. I like knowing for one of the first times in my life I'm on the right path. I don't like the talk of something greater. The undercurrent of worry they seem to carry when I mention it. It would be too much to go, hey Phoebe, you've got a lot of sun power. It's only going to be good things. That is unrealistic.
I suppose, yes. There are enough stories to know that it could carry challenges. But, you have me, you know? So,
Exactly.
maybe we can work it out together, huh?
The Lady of the Sun and the Lady of the Oracle. I don't know what you want your title to be.
Well. The Misto is going to slightly dodge that question. Um, but she will do this. Um, I was thinking after the conversation with Lord Edes, would you help me to perhaps come up with a dance for the dead? A new way to honor them? In this way, if we encounter them again, it is something that I can do when we are safe. I thought maybe it would be good for us to start to create some of our own traditions.
Of course. You mentioned there are plenty of stories from the past. And I want to continue on the stories of Helios, of Apollo. But I want to help write new stories. Maybe ones with less tragic ends, but again, I don't know if the fates have that in store for us.
You know, I also wonder what it is that they have in mind. But I get the feeling more and more that we have a greater say.
It's... For some reason, it is comforting to me to know that the gods are just people like us, from all of their pomp and circumstance. But at the same time, what I would... Drachma would pay for a straight answer.
I feel it is a situation where the answer is not so simple, and so
And I
this
think
is why we keep getting what we do.
the answer
Perhaps,
is unclear.
yes, and maybe more than one thing is true at the time.
You should try to speak to Gaia if you can. There's a lot to catch her up on.
There is.
And if she listens, tell her I said hello. I would like to meet her someday.
This would be a very good thing.
she is much a part of you as Hollow is. And I know him more than I feel like I should sometimes. It would be nice to get to know her as well.
It would be good to see Theodoros again.
Soon. I think. Though, if I have to set myself on fire and run screaming, "Look at me," in the other direction, I'll do that for him. What is on your mind?
I'll just leave it.
Okay. You get ready for sleepies. Get ready for the eepies.
Quick question. Was that Iskra not wanting to say, or was that Themisto holding back?
That's me. Me, Iskra.
Okay. If it was Themisto holding back, I was going to ask for an insight check, but I shall not then.
You get ready for sleep. And as sleep slowly takes each and every one of you, Laertes finding comfort in the bed. The solid softness of whatever passes for beds in ancient Greece. A mattress of
I imagine Hecate
A
has
pile
like
of rocks.
Hades. So forward. I imagine she has like the first Serta mattress ever made in this universe.
Probably. They are pretty comfy. Phoebe, there is this warmth aside from the one beside you, the one inside that burns as well. And it's like almost like the feeling of falling asleep to white noise of like like a campfire or something. You almost swear that you can hear the crackle of energy, this crackle of a burning flame that burns just inside. You, the Misto, at first dream of darkness and the comfort of sleep. But then the brilliance of light that opens up within your inner eye, and the presence of someone within. Tell me of the things of your world, Themisto. The voice of Gaia echoes around you. Cypress. You toss and turn, trying to get comfortable. Not being able to get comfortable. Suddenly you find yourself asleep. And the smell of comfort And the voice that whispers in your ear, I would like to see that witch do better. And you kind of crack an eye open. And you find yourself in a familiar setting. A bedroom of palatial size. You look around. No, this is real. You were here. You see the bed is messed but empty. There's this cool night breeze that is blowing in from an open balcony. And you recognize the scent of the incense, the scent of the fire of the hearth, and the spicy, intoxicating smell of Thebes, exotic in its own way. Do you move?
Yes.
Where?
The Cypress heads to the balcony.
You go to the balcony and see a star-filled sky with a brilliant moon above. You look down and around yourself. You can see your body beneath you, though it like shimmers. It doesn't look quite real or solid, but you can see yourself. Cypress? You hear the voice that makes your heart stop. It comes from behind you.
We'll turn.
Astarion meets your eyes. Cypress?
Asteria.
He walks up and places a warm hand that you can feel on your chest, over your heart. Cypress,
How?
I don't know. He smiles. And the light that burns for his eyes, within his eyes, smiles as well. And he embraces you in a warm hug and buries his face into your neck. You're here.
You're here.
And as we move from the scene, you all gain a long rest. All of you, except for one individual, no, two. These two individuals find themselves in pitch black. Leos, stay close, please. The crackling of torches in nothing but darkness. The light extends about 2-3 feet in front of them, and step by cautious step, they walk along a path. I'm scared. Brother, I'm scared. Why is it so dark? Cylon brings his brother in closer, huddling in the light. Occasionally they can see Branch pass by as they walk and try and make their way to the city that should be a sanctuary. But there is no light beyond this flame, and even the flame of this torch that would burn bright finds itself so far diminished. Stay close. Stay close. We can get there. One step at a time. One step at a time. There's nothing to fear. What is that? Brother, what is that? The torch falls to the ground and gets knocked and blown out. And that's where we'll end for tonight. Dum dum dum.
Oh dear.
Listen, there's got to be balance, okay? You got to go good feelings, then you get some bad feelings, and then you got some information, then you get not information.
In order for Cypress to have good night, someone must have bad night.
No. But maybe. All right. Well, that was fun.
I didn't realize I was about to take a leave of absence because Cypress is now on leave.
Are
Is this
you?
your way of booting me for a little bit?
Yeah, you're gone.
Hey. Also known as Sex Island.
Take a hike, kid. Oh my god. All right.
Take 5.
Take 5. I don't know what my roommate is cooking, but it smells so good right now. Okay.
I can't wait till the next day when Cypress is like, it's been 12 hours since I last saw a star. And we're like,
Technically, the timer reset, so
I'm sorry, what?
Love it. All right, cool. Well, you know,
I
introduce.
haven't been on Thebes for a good hour.
It's like the I haven't had.
And
There's
it's
no
torture.
accident. I'm gonna put a counter in the background. It's gonna be kind of like how many days since your last accident?
0 days since
Since he's been on the island of Thebes.
0 days since not being on Thebes.
Yeah.
Well, it's something, anyways.
Alrighty. Anyhowsen. Great game, guys. Yoo-hoo. Yoo-hoo. Looking forward to next week with another exciting episode and some vampires shortly after that. Woo.
Oh my god.
It's
Oh
gonna
my God.
suck.
Oh Lord. All right. Well, you guys have a great night. You know, stay fey, be brave. The safe word's mango. Oh crap! I forgot the new one.
Bunny spread.
Bunny spread. No, the other new one.
Oh, gaze upon you.
No, the other new one. The new one from
There's
today.
another new one?
The one from today. I don't remember what it was. I was like, oh, we're gonna have to add this to the thing, and I forgot. Well,
Vortex warp.
that was yeah. Oh yeah, praise be Vortex Warp. Alrighty, guys. We'll see you next time. Have a good night.